evening, everybody. Good evening. Technical difficulties, just 1 second. We'll get this game rolling. I rely on this for some elbow support, so critical. Oh no, I wanted to, it's okay, I can just use the regular pole without this microphone stand. Need something to occupy my arms with. Anyway, I'll start off with this. I was given some sage advice tonight to be Jewy, so I'm going to review you with a little bit of bullshit in hopes that my nose will grow. I also been given advice to channel Barbara Streisand, which is something I'm actually pretty good at. So instead of Sydney, maybe I'll go by Barb for the rest of the year. I'm honestly not used to being in the spotlight like this and under this kind of pressure. I'm a dentist. Usually, I'm the one shining a light in somebody's face with sharp instruments in their mouth. Can I lean? Perfect. Elbow height, 90 degrees to the floor. There are 7 people in here who get that. That works great. Here, no. This works. Anyway, no, I'm very high maintenance. So, no, really though, I'm not used to this as much as people might think I am. I'm usually the one with sharp instruments in people's mouths, shining the bright light in their face, asking them questions in an inquisition that I know the answer to, but I need to hear them say anyway. Do you floss? You know I don't. I'm sorry. And then they blame me for making their gums bleed. They know it's their fault. It's a big catch-22. Anyway, so I'm not so used to this. So if every once in a while anybody wants to throw out like a ha 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 ha, it's not a laugh. I'm not asking for pity laughs. That's just the language I understand and I speak in general when I, have things in people's mouths from like 9 to 5 every day. So it's just a little, I'll get what you're saying, but if you want to make me feel a little more comfortable. This is, thank you for all that, but I'm gonna. Anyway, stuck in it. So, no, it's okay. The physical comedy part of the evening. So I'm a dentist. It's interesting because I knew this was a calling from a very young age. I had a knack for having conversations with people when they couldn't respond. The closest and best, most bond-forming conversations I ever had with my siblings were then when they were taking naps. One 4-hour drive sometime when I was somewhere around 6 years old, I had a 4-hour conversation with my sister who was sleeping in the back seat. That's when we got very close. I would walk up to the construction workers on the street yielding the jackhammer and just start talking to them, thrilled that they wanted to hear all about my day. My mom used to put me on the phone with telemarketers. There is nothing that will get them to stop calling than hearing the ramblings on about an 8-year-old child. The problem with this, as much as a gift as this is for the field that I'm in order to make a real career out of it, you need these patients to return to you on a regular basis. So it's a tough line to toe between trying to find a conversation you can have one-sided that is enjoyable for both parties. This is what really took a lot of schooling to get the hang of it. And I'm still working on it and still in training. There's an extra year for that at least to figure out kind of how to have that conversation. But it's a tough nut to crack. I started off in my profession by singing to patients. Who's gonna tell you don't like them singing when you're holding a drill in their mouth? The problem with that is that it starts off well enough, get some Billy Joel or something going, let's sing us a song, the piano man, but then you just sing the same verse over and over and over again. New enough to dentistry, it's like, shit, gotta pay attention to what I'm doing, and then you just, 8 minutes later, you're singing the same verse of the same Billy Joel song. Every once in a while, you start making up words to songs like, Becky doesn't brush her teeth, she's got so many cavities, I gotta fill them up. And then you realize you're singing about the person sitting in your gross their mouth is, doesn't fly so well either. So once you're in this for long enough, you start to figure out how to have this one-sided conversation. And as I said before, you know, it's a real art. This is the artistry of dentistry, figuring out how to have a one-sided conversation. But the real kicker is what topic to choose. This is where it gets a little tough. You can't just start spewing about anything. Politics, automatically out. People are scared enough of the dentist as it is. You people in Ann Arbor make Bernie Sanders look like a right-wing, like, red crackpot. God forbid I let it slip, said, you know, I want Bush in the White House again. Hillary 2016! Anyway, so politics, done. No one ever's coming back once you start talking about politics. Entertainment gets a little tricky. You know, generally your big patient base comes back every 6 months. At this point in the movie industry, they're making the same movie every 6 months. So you have a patient in your chair you saw 6 months ago. It's like, oh, are you going to see X-Men 17? Hugh Jackman's old? All right, well, I guess we can find something else to talk about now. It's too short. It just doesn't do the job. And then the segue is tough. What I find is certainly tough, but gets brought up a lot by patients, religion. You know, they see this 3-inch needle coming into their mouth. Oh God, Jesus Christ, he can't help you now. You're mine. Find religion on your own time. Saturday, Sunday, this Wednesday morning, it's not gonna help you much. Sometimes I'll try to give it back to them. You're like, yes, you're okay. Yes, I am God, and yes, you're doing all right, don't worry. That freaks them out a little more, because nobody expects God to be a woman, but let's go. So, you know, we're starting to, what do you talk about? The sweet spot, I find, is sports. Geographically, they're pretty safe to discuss. You know, in Ann Arbor, go blue. Nobody killed me yet. It has happened a few times because we have patients coming from ways away where I'll, you know, start talking about go blue. And what are you talking about? I'm a state fan. No, listen, I'm just deconstruct. Go blue, go yellow, go green. It's the components. I'm bringing the hipster of Ann Arbor to Lansing, and, you know, we'll just separate it into the deconstructed Spartan. It saved me a few times. I honestly don't know how many times I can pull it off because I can't keep straight who's a state fan versus who's a Michigan fan. But it's worked so far. I haven't died yet. But ESPN proved to us that people can listen to people droning on for hours on end about sports. Disney doing something right. And geographically, as I said, you know, it's generally pretty safe that people like to discuss watching some millionaire or watching some, like, maybe unnecessarily famed person doing something that seems like fun to do all day, every day. You know, it's an enjoyable conversation. That always segues into, I find it very interesting how the ball size, anatomically speaking, of the athlete correlates to the ball size of the sport that they play. Golfers. Let's be real, nobody thinks of golfers as athletes. I'm allowed to say this because I golf. But to be fair, I also walk my clubs 18 holes of the course. But golfers are in their freshly, you know, pressed khakis, freshly starched polos, on the most perfect day of the year, 72 degrees and sunny, not a cloud in the sky. God forbid somebody coughs. You know, there's a big stink and they have to start over. And somebody else is carrying their shit, honestly. In what world are these people athletes? You know, real small balls. Tennis, maybe a little better, but I have a theory that tennis is the game of English aristocracy. Steve, you can corroborate this for me. But I have a theory that, you know, tennis was started by minions of royalty trying to prop up their masters. So, you know, you have two people on each side of this court. Oh, sire, you should hit this ball over the net. Oh, I shall try. Oh, no, I hit it into the net. What do I do now? Oh, no, sire, don't worry. It's all right. You get a second chance. All right, I'll try. Oh, I did it. Fantastic. A point for me. Oh, no, sire. 1 point for all that effort. That's much too little. I think you should get at least 15 points. 15 nothing, but I noises, but you're not fooling anybody. Baseball. You have to run fast about 90 feet at a time, spend most of your time standing on a beautifully groomed lawn, waiting for somebody to hit their ball to you. Every once in a while you make an athletic move to keep the fans awake or keep them from getting too drunk. Realistically, not much going on. So, I mean, more than tennis, iffy, but, we'll say for the sake of the progression of this, that maybe baseball players have a little bigger balls. We started to the good stuff here, basketball. You have 5 giants running full speed back and forth on a waxed wooden floor. You have 5 chances to commit a physical assault before they'll kick you out of the game. There is no protection. The ball itself is pretty big, pretty bouncy, pretty resilient. You can do a lot of fun stuff with it. Basketball players are starting to get into some real athleticism. Football, you're taught from the earliest of ages not to stand in the lane of a bus. Football players do this, willingly for 16 weeks a year, maybe more. You have 300-pound men in full pad, like they have to really protect themselves, running straight at you full speed with the solo aim of taking you out. I mean, it's kind of ballsy. Their main purpose is to rip your balls off. And then take them away from you and run them to the other side. So we're starting to get somewhere with football players. Rugby, to be real, is just football without pads that starts with a scrum, which I think speaks for itself. But the true heroes, I think, of the athletic world are bowlers. Huge heavy ball. You have to stick 3 fingers into 3 separate holes at once. Hard stuff to do, and keep your wrist firm. It's very heavy and sensitive. Not to mention the outfit. You have a 1980s neon polo with your first name embroidered on it so people can call you out. This is all willing, by the way. And you're wearing another man's shoes. As far as I'm concerned, I think bowlers are the real heroes of the athletic world. And then we have badminton, which is no balls at all, just puck. So. Which brings me back to the point of there are lots of conversations you can have with your patient about sports and athletes. There's a lot to say about all these things. And very easily understood and respond to ha 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 ha. I think, after years and years of training, I've finally learned the real secret of practicing dentistry. And I'll leave you guys with one little tip. When you go to the dentist, and by the way, if anybody needs a dentist, I have a few good recommendations. But if anybody goes to the dentist, and that book of questionnaire they have you fill out, and there's when's the last time you were at your doctor, or what do you do to work out, or how many times a week do you work out, or what sports do you play? We're not asking you that to see, how active you are, or to see what the chances are that you're going to get knocked in the face and call us in the middle of the night to fix your teeth. They're asking you that to see how well you're going to handle this 3-inch needle coming at your face and what kind of balls you have. So just keep that in mind.
It's like the kids are running the house. You guys have made it super amazing. We have one more performer for you tonight. Give it up for Maddie.